Welcome back to another edition of Special Situations Investing with Greg. This week I will be talking about my first year experience managing money for someone else and how I did. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of my YouTube channel on Special Situations Investing and my personal investing practice. As a quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. Any companies that I mention in this presentation are discussed solely for illustrative purposes. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is to help educate me and educate you about certain special situations. It is not a solicitation to purchase them. I recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself prior to your committing of any funds. I also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. And then finally, may your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks a bunch for watching. Now on to the video. So about a year ago, I was offered the opportunity to manage money for a family member, and I'm not going to disclose who that family member is, but I do want to share a little bit about how my first year experience managing this portfolio for someone else was like. And it wasn't a large sum. The amount that was given me was $1,000, and I've been managing it since the inception using a lot of the investments that I have disclosed in this YouTube channel. And over the past year, I've shared a couple of updates here and there, and I thought that it would be appropriate, seeing as how as of August 31st last year, that was when the money was deposited into the account. It's probably a good idea to do a one-year review of my performance as a manager of someone else's funds doing special situations. $1,000 is what it had, and I'll give you the numbers up front. You can decide if you want to hear the rest afterwards. So after 1 year, since 31 August to 31 August this year, I ended up having $1,116 or $61.30 and in that account there was one position left. I have 100 shares of SFT in that account, and then I also have a call that I sold on that at a strike price of $15 for a December 2021 expiration. Finally, there is $434.82 in cash. And so overall, I did a comparison between this and the VOO, which is Vanguard's S&P 500 stock market index, including dividends, and I compared the two, and Vanguard completely trounced my performance this last year. Vanguard put out 31.85% over the past year, or this exact time frame, and their comparison was almost twice what I had. I had about 16.13% return. So unfortunately, I did not outperform the market, or the S&P 500 in this case. However, I wanted to share some of the things that I learned. So lessons learned. Number one, selling calls against the positions that I have is a good way to recoup some of the costs. About a month and a half ago, I was like, I've got all this money in SFT, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to do well over the next 3 to 5 years, but I need to have more cash in order to continue to participate in tender offers and all the other things that I want to have with this portfolio. So I started selling calls, and I sold the call for about $100 for SFT, and that's a pretty decent premium. And at the time, it was a very good call to sell into, because the market kind of frittered around after that, and so did SFT in particular. And that $100 represents almost about 13% or so of the total funds outstanding that are committed to SFT. Number two, the second thing that I learned this year was that I need to continue to look for special situations with a high probability of success. The biggest downturn for this portfolio was my participation in the PERS Podevco going private transaction, and that one hurt pretty bad. It hurt this portfolio in particular pretty bad because it dropped about 20% in that one transaction. With that in mind, sometimes it's better to participate in higher probability but lower return items. And one of those things that you might think about right now is Double Down Interactive, and I'm so grateful that Jelani Taters told me that he was participating in that one, because it helps me recognize that I've actually started to give you enough video content that you guys can go out and do these things on your own, and you can find the things that you want to participate in. So Double Down Interactive, just for your information if you're interested, is selling at a discount to the $18 per share tender offer that's out there at this time. The next lesson that I think that's important is that I need to expect to fail at my activities from time to time, and this obviously was a year where my purported expectations were a failure. 16% return over a year is not a bad return for the stock market. It's not a bad return in any year. However, the biggest thing is in comparison to what the total stock market, or in this case the S&P 500, did over the same time, it is kind of disappointing. Now, when I think about this, I think about one of the things that Joel Greenblatt talked about, and that is that you should expect lumpy returns. And I've been a special situations value investor for about, I don't know, most of my life, but special situations in particular with spin-offs and tender offers probably for the past 3 to 5 years. And I've noticed that there are times when these types of special situations, you can buy them at a no kidding, you're going to get your money back type price. And the trick is you have to accept the fact that on those times when it's not hitting your price targets, you are going to fail and you are going to lag behind the market overall. The second thing that you need to think about is that you always want to make sure that you don't lose money, which is much more important in this business than how much you gain. And I have my own opinions about where the stock market as a whole is at this time. You can probably guess that I'm a little bit skeptical that it's perhaps a little overpriced at the moment, and we'll see where that goes. If it outperforms me for 10 years, you know what, I will definitely admit my failures and my failings, and I'll definitely probably move on from that. My final thought, and this is for people with small portfolios that they want to invest this style or use this style of investing, is that $1,000, even at that level, with the PERS Podevco going private transaction, that was a painful lesson. But part of the reason why this portfolio got hit as hard as it did is that the entire portfolio was committed to that one item, and I got a little bit greedy and a little bit excessive in how I was doing this. And so going forward, I've made the commitment that I will attempt to have no more than about 50% of my portfolio of this portfolio in one transaction or another. That being the case, I'm not going to sell out of SFT at this time because I think I got in at a decent price, and I can go ahead and continue to reduce the cost over time with 100 shares. Technically, if I wanted to get it at an exact 50-50, I wouldn't be able to sell calls on it and reap the benefit of having the options hedge against that. So that is one of the reasons why I don't have a 50-50% split at this moment. But I expect that if I continue to participate in tender offers with the balance, the $434, I should be able to change that up to almost a 50-50 split over the next year. So my goal next year, I expect to have half of the portfolio in SFT or have sold out of SFT at a profit of about $15 a share. And I expect to have that other $400 to grow into probably about $500 or $600 over the next year. So who knows? I don't know what the portfolio will actually turn out to be over the next year, but that's kind of my goal and where I expect to be with it. So thanks a bunch for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, please share them in the comments section below, and I appreciate all of your support, guys, and Investing Mutants we will rule the world one day. Thanks so much, guys.